Almost 44 points right now, but that could change as the day wears on. Walk around almost any city in this country, sometimes all around the world, you see the fashion label FUBU. This urban clothing phenomenon is the brainchild of Daymond John. Fashion isn't his only interest. He has now added to his resume his first book called Display of Power: How FUBU Changed a World of Fashion Branding and Lifestyles. He's in town with the Essence Music Fest and a book signing we'll tell you more about in a couple of seconds, but got to read a lot of your book last night. And if you're not an inspirational speaker, you should be.
Thank you.
I mean, it really is a story of the American dream. I mean, as a kid, you wanted to be a millionaire by the time you were 20.
Absolutely. You know, I had dreams like everybody else, and I wanted to be a millionaire, but I just didn't know how I was going to make the money. And then after I found out how hard it was to make the money, I realized that I probably wasn't going to be a millionaire.
And then a lot of things changed for you, and you credit a lot of your upbringing and how you turned out to your mom.
Well, I mean, you know, actually, while writing the book, you start to realize all the ways that your parents affected you. At that time, I thought she was just a crazy old lady.
Yeah.
You know? But now, after going through the book and writing it, she had a big part in how I grew up and, you know, what my aspirations were.
And then you talk about your father, who is on the other side of the spectrum for you.
Oh, my father, he left at 12 years old, didn't have anything, so what happened was my mother and father.
And how did that affect you, do you think, for the rest of your life? I mean, it did change the way you viewed the world.
Well, you know, I think that there's two ways you can go about it. If your father leaves you, you can, you know, lose that aspect of knowing how to be a man, or if your father leaves you, you can take on that aspect of now you have to be a man.
Yeah, and you grew up in a neighborhood where you know, you could have gone, you know, down the wrong road or up the right road, and you made the right decision.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that
we had a couple of dalliances for a few times.
Yeah, we all ride that fence, you know, no matter what demographic we're at. And I think this life experiences and your desire to want to do good depends on, you know, what direction you take.
And when you first came up with the idea for FUBU, it was with some of your friends, and you realized, because you saw other people do it, that the brand, if you sell the brand, if you make the brand hot, all of a sudden you can sell almost anything.
Yeah, I think branding is the most important thing in life in any of our aspects. Like I was saying to you earlier, we wake up every day and we brand ourselves. Depends on what we wear as apparel or how we speak, you know, how we carry ourselves. So once you make something, a brand hot, like Starbucks coffee,
sure,
Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kremes, any of these words that I say, people will gravitate towards because it's a brand, and that separates you from the rest of the herd.
And I mean, you know, the brand does work, obviously, because when you pay $3 or $4 for a small bottle of water, I mean, it's branding.
You're buying into a movement. You're buying into what people have put into your mind to reinforce, to say that it's either better quality or it's needed by you or it's something that you have to have. So you're buying into it. And
when you started FUBU, I mean, you started realizing that a lot of urban clothing and things like that, urban trends, were great in other cities where they didn't have that style coming in as fast.
Yeah, well, you know, I started FUBU at a time when this rap music thing was really taking off, and everybody was the voice of the younger generation, and they all were not wanting to just rap, but they wanted to dress like it and live like it. So they say hip hop is something you live, not something you do, and that's what I basically had created around the FUBU brand.
But you had to get there had to be something that kicked it off to that next level, though.
Kicked it off to the level of just taking it over the top. It was music videos. It was sitting on sets for 18 hours. It was taking 10 shirts I had for 3 years. I took 10 shirts and put them on a wrapper and take it back. Put it on a wrapper, take it back. Wear it on a date, take it back. Clean the house with it, take it back. Dry clean it. And before you know it, after about 3 years, I was this huge clothing company, but I was only 10 shirts. But it was on every single video. It was commercials running across the country. I'd be in Red Lobster working and people would say, "Aren't you the FUBU guy?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I am, but you know, what do you want, baked potato, french fries, rice?"
Because you were working at Red Lobster at the time,
Because I was still at Red Lobster, but you know, that was just branding. I took those 10 shirts and I went around the country, and it was a different time at that era.
In your wildest dreams, did you ever think it'd get this big?
Absolutely not. I thought that maybe me and my guys would have a little store someplace and we'd sell, you know, a couple of shirts a week and, you know, have a couple of dollars.
FUBU's an international brand. You've got other companies as well?
FUBU's an international brand. I just opened my 60th store in Beijing, China, as well as we do own other brands that are currently in the market, Coogee and Heather Red and a couple other brands, Drunken Monkey.
And the book should do well. I'll tell you what, it should be in like most schools.
I hope so. Some teachers have put it in schools.
Okay, very good. Daymond, thanks very much. You can meet Daymond John and get a copy of his new book, Display of Power: How FUBU Changed A World of Fashion, Branding, and Lifestyle. He'll have an autograph session today at the Essence Music Festival's Book Emporium. It'll be at the Morial Convention Center at Hall E. He'll be there from noon till 1:30. And thanks for coming, and we appreciate that.
Man.
And good luck, but you've already had a ton of that. When we come back, what's new with the Green Project? We'll talk with board member Phyllis Jordan. Stay right there.